Alright, so hey, I'm Daniel. I'm with the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and I'm an intern here. And we're here to talk about wolves and how fast they can run. So, in general, wolves can usually run top speed between 35 to 40 miles per hour. Females usually lead the hunts because they're faster. They're 20% smaller than males. And for the most part, these guys are nomadic. So basically, they are willing to always take basically an adventure to find a new home. This also depends on the abundance of animals that they have around there. So usually if animal calls for something that's very scarce, they could be on a move for about 100 miles away. So basically they can trot about 5 to 6 miles per hour, and they can cover 100 miles a day. Also, their legs are very long, and they run and walk on their toes, not on the soles of their feet like we do. And this basically helps them take longer steps. So let me try to get Micah back over here. Micah, Kiara, come here. So this is Kiara. I call her Mama. Her name's Kiara Wahopa. And Kiara here is very gentle, very sweet, as you can see. She is Native American. Her name is Native American for long hair, dark haired, beautiful girl. And this is Micah. So as you can see here, like I was telling you about, the long legs that he has and how he walks on his toes that you can see here. Like I said, for longer steps. So usually wolves will stay in the territory and cover that as much as possible, depending on how big the wolf pack is. Also, this depends on like I said, the food. And basically, if there's pups around, they'll usually have a fixed stand and stay around there for a while. But that just all depends, as well as how much food is around. So it's hard to concentrate and do this at the same time. Let's see, another cool thing is that these guys, they can leap through snow about 16 feet. So when a scientist was actually tracking them one day to do some observations on them, he saw the leaps about 16 feet away from each other. That means that they could just basically jump over and leap over things, gaps and things like that. So wolves in general, the males can get about 5.5 to 7 feet long, like Micah here. He's a big boy. And Kiara's smaller. Another cool thing is that there's always an alpha in each pack. So you have an alpha male and an alpha female, and they work together, and the only two allowed to breed in a pack. So that's very important to stop, to make sure there's no overpopulation in the pack, and also to make sure that they're the dominant ones as well. So if anything were to happen to these guys, it would be really hard to recover what they have lost. Basically, if you lose an alpha male or an alpha female and they have pups, it's basically if you were to come home one day and your dad or mom is not there. So it's very important to have these guys as safe as possible, because they're part of, basically their own breeding, and they're the mommy and daddy. Without these guys, we wouldn't even be where we're at today. It would be hard to have a good ecosystem, and basically the ecosystem suffers without these guys. They drive out elk herds, deer herds that are very unnatural, very, very big, and large in number. And as you can hear about what happened at the Yellowstone National Park when wolves were reintroduced in 1995, that is a complete change and a great drastic, basically example of how science was involved. And science said we needed these guys here. So it's very important to have them. Ain't that right, Micah? And he's got some pretty big paws here. So usually if you're looking at a timber wolf's paws or compared to an Arctic wolf will be a little bigger because of the fact that their paws, for example, act like a snowshoe. Unlike these guys, Arctic wolves have webbing in between their toes, and that acts like a snowshoe, and it can spread out to 5 inches. So that's really, really interesting. And as you can see here, guys, they're shedding. They're still in their winter coat, and that's really funny, because no matter how much we try to get rid of this stuff here to help them out, it's something that they'll have to do. Usually they'll scratch along a tree or something like that, or sit in the sun. A lot of times people have questions of why these guys want to sit in the sun when it's so hot and they still have that winter coat on. Well, the sun helps dry out that winter coat, and it also helps remind them that, hey, I have a sweater on in the summer. So thanks again, guys, for watching this. Stay tuned for more weekly wolf blogs, and we'll be back here. So thank you for being involved.